All right. Move this over here. This whole thing about uh, zone widths and the date ranges, the details, and that sort of thing is, I mean, it's such an interesting topic. It's actually, if you really look into it and see all the components, it becomes extremely complex. Um, on the other hand, there's not very many concepts involved. Uh, there's a couple of things that the simile timeline widget um, uh, allows us to do, and I would like to take a look at both of them and try to figure out their strengths and weaknesses. So hopefully, this will be really short. Um, let me go to section. We're going to take. I'm going to want to take a look at automatic sizing of time with bands, which is completely confusing initially to me. I thought it was really cool, just like you did when I first discovered it. And then every time I look at it, it becomes more notorious. If I come down here, I'm going to pull the screen down. It never works when I do it that way here. Let's do it from up. If I go down here and put right down here, you see we have a timeline, and it has Autowidth set on, and I'm at around 1900 right now. And if I go to a section of the timeline that has too much information on it, that it'll drop out through the bottom. What Autowidth does is it actually changes the height of the timeline. It has nothing to do with width. It's just, it's sort of like, so if you actually set a timeline to be 600 pixels high and you turn Autowidth on, that goes out the window. That's going to be changed at some point. And if you actually, well, let me demonstrate this. I'm going to actually go to 4,400. This is just a test, so I'm going to go over here and click on that, and watch what happens down here uh, to the timeline. I'm going to try to keep my mouse on it. I'm going to try to click on it as quickly as possible and put my mouse down here. See, now you can see where the cursor is. It's come down about another 100 pixels to a place, 4,400, that has, this is tricky, it initially had too much information and that would have dropped off the timeline. It did a really good job of spacing it. But what this thing does is it it doesn't. The problem, one of the problems with it is doesn't do the reverse. In other words, if I go back to 1900, it's not going to make the timeline small or the height of the timeline less. So basically, all it really does, it's a one trick pony. It just makes the timeline height bigger. That's all it can do. It can't do anything else. So if I actually go back to 1900, it's just a bigger timeline. So it shouldn't really be called. It shouldn't be called auto height. It shouldn't be called auto width. It should be called auto height. And it. What was I going to say? And it really doesn't do much but grow the timeline. So I don't know. The next thing is the mouse wheel scroll. Now, if you turn the scrolling, the mouse right now moves the timeline horizontally when you use the mouse wheel. If we go over here, we go to this. We can see, let's move up here, mouse wheel zooming. And basically it has to be set, and I'm not really sure how. I mean, this would have to be a relatively complex thing, because what's happening is you're changing when you use the mouse wheel on the timeline. It doesn't scroll it anymore if this is turned on. It manipulates the magnification, means it makes certain places wider, but I'm not really sure how it decides what section of the timeline between what two dates is being manipulated by the mouse wheel. And it also changes the units. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how it fits in. The problem is I've never been able to get it to work because down here people are claiming in the comments that you have to go in and actually change the JavaScript. Where is that comment? I'll send you this link. So, and that just scares the hell out of me. Go in there, instantly wreck it. It is right. There it is. So you have to go in and change. So, I mean, how did it when you scroll the mouse wheel? How does it know between what two dates to manipulate, or is it just changing the whole timeline from start to finish? Which there isn't any, so I'm not really sure how this works. So I just wanted to go through that and take a look at that. It's time to have a couple of beers, actually. So that's it for tonight. Gotta go. Thanks. Have a great weekend.